Hey there, all you ghouls and goblins. Radio 85.9 proudly presents Horror Zoid with your hosts, Stevie Scares and Natalie Nightmare, talking all things horror from the 80s, 90s, and today. Today's episode is brought to you by Larry's Lanterns. That's right, Larry does lanterns too. Let Larry light your way this Halloween. Calling all Zoids. Welcome back to another episode of Horror Zoid, everybody. I'm Stevie Scares.
And I'm Natalie Nightmare.
And today, it is all about Halloween because as we are releasing this episode, it's the weekend right before Halloween. It's coming up. We're really excited about it.
Best time of the year.
Best time of the year. We've got the leaves falling off the trees, all that good, beautiful shit going on that we usually see this time of year. It's the best. I mean, it's why we do what we do, you know. Mm-hmm. Halloween, it is our everything.
Yeah, it really is. It's the gateway holiday to a horror lifestyle.
And we wouldn't be here if it weren't for Halloween and all the spooky shit surrounding it and all the spookiness that it's given us over the years, especially those movies. I mean, literally when Natalie and I met, the one thing that we joked about and laughed about is, you know, the best time of the year and the best thing to see is you go to the store like at the end of August, beginning of September, and you start to see all the special edition DVD, Blu-ray releases of your favorite movies.
Walmarts were always so fire for no reason at all. Like even this year, I think I don't really see like Blu-rays a lot. It's pretty much mostly DVD, but I think they had these like cool glow in the dark ones or whatever this year, and they're always so fucking cool. You always see those end caps and little special displays of spooky movies, and if you go even further back, movies and like those little Halloween audio CDs of spooky sounds.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Little read-along, sing-along type stuff.
Yeah.
It was that stuff is total nostalgia for me. But yeah, I was getting ready to say the special edition covers on all the movies and DVDs and books. Mm-hmm. You know, you go to a Books A Million or a Barnes & Noble now, you're going to see all these special edition covers and stuff that everybody's releasing for their books. Their anniversary editions, like this year we got Lost Boys, I think it's like the 35th? Yeah, 35th anniversary of Lost Boys.
Mm-hmm. You've got 40th of Halloween 3. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, great anniversaries. I think Night of the Demons, one of the Night of the Demons movies, celebrated an anniversary this year.
I think you're right, yeah.
But yeah, that's why we do what we do, because Halloween has given us so much. You know, this is our Christmas. This is our Super Bowl. This is our World Series.
Yeah.
This is what we look forward to all year. And we're celebrating today by talking our favorite movies. Before we get into the movies, though, I do want to say again, thank you to everyone for your support, listening to us on all the different platforms.
Yeah.
Remember, give us a review if you can. Drop us a line. Let us know how we're doing. If we're great, tell us. If not, tell us. We want to know what we can, throughout. You think we like sitting up here talking like idiots? We really do. We really do. But we want to not be idiots. So drop us a review, and it helps push us up the ladder and helps get eyes on us. So but again, we're very grateful and thankful for everybody who is listening and following us right now on all of our platforms. Remember, we still want your ghost stories. Send them in to horrorzoidpod@gmail.com. We'll do another ghost stories episode.
Yeah,
and
that was a fun one.
It was so much fun. And next time we'll get to read everybody else's ghost stories.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of them.
You heard ours.
Yeah.
Of course we have more. We've always got more. But we want yours too.
100%. And that's what we're looking forward to getting. Send us any stories you've got. Mm-hmm. And we are now, we've got Twitter, we've got Instagram now, some additions to our social media platforms.
Yeah.
So if you're not following us on there, go ahead and follow us. We have Natalie posts great pictures and I say funny shit. So I think those are great reasons to follow us on.
I think you said that pretty perfectly. Yeah.
Right. So follow us wherever you can. We're all over social media now. But let's get into it. It's Halloween movies that shaped us and made us the people that we are. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we can talk Halloween without starting with Halloween. So Halloween, of course, if you don't know what it is, I don't know how you found us. But Halloween, of course, 1978, John Carpenter unleashed this low-budget phenomenon onto the world about a guy named Michael Myers, who we know nothing about, but he escapes a mental institution and goes to kill some fucking babysitters.
Yeah.
And one of those babysitters just so happens to be Laurie Strode, played by the iconic Jamie Lee Curtis. Love her or hate her, she is an absolute megastar in the horror world, and she's given us a lot over the years.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, Halloween. But really, I think the one we need to talk about the most is the one that just came out. As of the recording of this episode, came out a few weeks ago. Halloween Ends, which is the conclusion to the saga started back in 2018 by David Gordon Green and Danny McBride and that creative team, giving us a new journey. Literally, 40 years later? 40 years later, after the original John Carpenter's Halloween, it negates all the other sequels. So this literally starts its own lineage from 2018 to Halloween Kills to now Halloween Ends.
Yeah, I feel like as the sequels went on, I feel like I saw more people shit on them. I'll say right now, I love all three of them. 2018 was absolutely phenomenal. I really don't have anything that I could say in a negative way to that movie. A lot of people didn't care for Halloween Kills. For some obvious reasons, we kind of talked about that a little bit on the slasher episode, where even though at this point I think it's just funny now that we all bond over Evil Dies Tonight.
Yeah, Evil Dies Tonight is one of the best things to come out of this new trilogy of Halloween movies. Of course, it's said infamously by Anthony Michael Hall playing the latest version of Tommy, the kid who was babysat by Laurie on the first Halloween evening back in 1978, and I love that. I love the that we got that catchphrase. I want to see it on T-shirts all over the place. And,
agreed.
Yeah.
I think I could maybe make that happen.
I think we might be able to do something there.
Yeah.
But yes, Halloween Kills. I loved Halloween Kills, but I am one of those people that just wanted to see utter brutality. So if you call a movie Halloween Kills, you better deliver.
And it did.
Yeah.
There were some shocking kills in that movie.
Shocking to say the least.
Yeah. And aplenty. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely, the movie's going to have some flaws, but I don't really think it was as bad as everyone kind of talks about it. But, Halloween Ends with it coming out has been very
polarizing.
Yes.
Divisive.
When the credits rolled on that, I know I probably had like that furrowed brow. Like I really had to process because it was so much in one movie.
It packed a hell of a punch for one film. I mean, obviously we have the story of the ending of Laurie and Michael, the thing that everybody wanted to see, but you and I were talking beforehand.
Which I'll go ahead and say right now, for anyone who hasn't seen it, spoilers.
Spoiler alert. We just
spoilers.
need to put that in effect at the beginning of every episode.
Yeah.
We're going to spoil a fucking movie that we're talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We're not going to hold back on our podcast.
No.
So, of course, the final showdown between Laurie and Michael, which to me was very satisfying.
Yeah.
But you and I walked into it, and we've mentioned this before. We were just talking about it before the show. We understand that you can't fill 90 minutes to 2 hours with just them fighting.
Right.
I mean, if that's what people expected and they didn't get, I mean, you were foolish to expect that. Of course, you're not going to see Jamie Lee Curtis, a woman who is in her 60s or 70s now, fighting Michael Myers. That was unrealistic if you expected that. But this, to me, delivered something that I welcomed, which was this new character with Corey to kind of taking on more of the main antagonist role of the film and these kills. And I believe his name's Roan Campbell, a great, terrific young actor who came out of nowhere.
I really liked Corey.
Oh my God. He came out of nowhere and just fucking surprised the hell out of me. But he did a phenomenal job with this new character who was given a tough task and trying to kind of take up the mantle while Michael Myers is in a weakened state in this movie.
Right.
Which, how else did you expect Laurie to win if he's not in a weakened fucking state?
Honestly, at this point.
Do they want her to take down a fully strong fucking Michael Myers?
Right. And I mean,
not gonna happen.
I think that's what people expect, but any movie, no matter which movie, which timeline, which director,
Nope.
they all have these super Michaels. It doesn't matter. And that's one thing with Halloween Kills that I was kind of fascinated by, is that he was weakened a lot more than he ever would have been with just fighting Laurie. Like, he does get, like, a mob beats the shit out of him.
Well, and that's why I love the people who are defending it, saying that this wasn't supposed to be, this was never Laurie's battle with Michael. This was Haddonfield's battle with Michael.
And I feel like that was the big focus. I don't remember if it was you or someone online that said, if you're a Michael Myers fan, you're not going to like the movie. If you're a Halloween fan, you're going to like the movie.
Right.
And as, I kind of just going through comments of, Halloween videos on TikTok alone and seeing what people are saying, there's so many people that do kind of say, they didn't like Corey because he took too much time away from Michael. And as we were sitting in the theater watching it, I didn't really feel like that. I just felt like it was a lot, again, at once. Like, a lot of people were saying it's like watching two movies at the same time.
It is watching two movies at the same time. You're watching Corey's journey with Allison, and you're watching Michael's journey with Laurie.
Yeah, as slow as it can be. But
it's strangely paced, which you and I have said. So, we're going to be upfront that the movie is not without its criticisms.
Not at all.
It's just that some of the criticisms are a little weak, in my opinion.
Right, and I'm not going to say it's a bad movie just because there's not a lot of Michael, because I'm also a fan of movies like Godzilla, where you get minimal screen time with the big guy.
And Michael Myers is Godzilla.
As effective. Right. It's like Michael Myers doesn't have a lot of screen time anyway. He did in, Halloween Kills, like, obviously.
Right.
It was really up in your face. But the thing is, like...
He didn't have a lot of screen time in the original, in the 1978 film.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. Like, that's not a valid criticism, in my opinion.
I just feel like you're always going to have this wave of people who just don't like something. Because if people wanted more Michael and they did that, then they would be like, it was just like Halloween Kills again. Can you do something different?
Exactly. Halloween Kills is
But then you do something different and you're shit on. And it's like, just enjoy it as it is. But I agree that there are faults in it. And again, that you could have said, hey, this last movie is going to be 2.5 hours. I don't give a fuck. It's Halloween Ends. Like, I'm going to watch 2.5 hours.
3 hours, 4 hours, doesn't matter.
So maybe
you fucking tie up that story.
Right. So if it gave it the extra time to fill in what I feel like was left out, like, I feel like he was forced to cut down his movie and cut down some of his ideas that he had for it to really flush out everything that we want. Because I feel like he's someone who understands what fans want and tries his best to do that. I just don't see that it was all him, not giving us everything that he wanted to. I feel like he was really forced to hold back or edit back.
Well, I mean, David Gordon Green, who you're talking about, he went on record and even said that he wanted to do things in this movie like like you'll see there's stories out there right now that he wanted to tie in Silver Shamrock, which would make Halloween 3 Season of the Witch canon, in all of this.
And it made sense because you have the trick-or-treaters in Halloween Kills. If you guys didn't notice, if you guys are the people who've never watched Halloween 3 because it doesn't have Michael Myers, just go fucking watch the movie and enjoy it.
Yeah, you're not going to enjoy our podcast if you don't go and watch that movie and enjoy it, because that's a big part of our identity.
Right. But you see the kids trick-or-treating and then you see them killed at the park. Or they're found dead in the park.
Which they even have a cameo in the 2018 one. They have a cameo in the 2018 one. You see them walk by.
Exactly.
And then you see them actually involved and get killed and everything in that in the playground scene. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but you've got the little pumpkin mask, the skull mask, and the witch mask, which are the Silver Shamrock masks from Halloween 3. And then when we sat in the theater to watch Halloween Ends and the credits came up, you tapped me because you immediately noticed the blue font. Halloween 3.
Because I immediately heard the pew, like that fucking sci-fi soundtrack music immediately hit. And if you listen, the Halloween theme this time does kind of have like
it's
an 80s
pretty
techno.
synthy. Yep.
Exactly. Well, Carpenter's always synthy.
I know, but like more so.
Right. It is 80s synthy, which is terrific. But yeah, like I enjoyed the movie, and did I love it? No, but I enjoyed it, and I was able to enjoy it because I'm not sitting there harshly criticizing it for silly reasons. Like, it didn't have enough Michael, and like, you know, I won't get on a soapbox about it, but I really think that with the stuff with these criticisms that people are lobbying at it, that you know, it was not enough Michael, and they didn't like the direction they went with Michael, and they didn't show Michael enough. It's like they couldn't because every time they tried to do a sequel or a new story or a new thing with Michael, it immediately was shit on.
Yeah.
Halloween 2, brother and sister, people shit on it.
Yep.
Halloween 3, completely different movie, people shit on it. Curse of Thorn, shit on.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Zombie Halloween, shit on.
Exactly.
Now this one, shit on. It's all, you know, it's like...
Well, there's even a tongue-in-cheek line in the first movie about the rumors about the brother and sister.
Yeah, and what did they say? Like, that was just something some idiots came up with.
Yeah.
Which technically it was. It was Carpenter who got shit-faced and was just in writer's block and decided to write them brother and sister, which I love that. I love that.
But no matter what direction, you're right. No matter what direction they take with it, people shit on it. That's like what I was saying earlier. If you gave more Michael, then they would have said, oh, it was like a copy of Halloween Kills, do something different. You're going to have the people that want something different, and then you're going to have the people who are mad that it's not the same. Because as we've seen recently, talking about Hellraiser, I am so tired of hearing the complaint, it's not as good as the original. I'm not fucking asking
Fuck that. That's not a valid complaint.
Because I don't disagree with you. I know that Halloween 2018, even if it wasn't continuing from the original movie, is not the first movie. And you can do that with any movie. I don't care. Like the new Hellraiser. I'm not comparing it to the original. Texas Chainsaw. Like
Scream. They're all getting compared to the original.
I'm not ever comparing anything to an original.
You can't.
You can't.
It's lightning in a bottle. It's once in a lifetime shit. You're not going to replicate it. I'm sorry, guys.
But if you watch it and it's a good movie, then cool.
And the last
thing doesn't have to be the original.
And the last thing I'll say about it is, if you want 1978 Halloween, go watch 1978 Halloween.
Right.
Like, that movie's been done. I want to see it done differently, and I got to see it, and I'm happy about it. And I can't wait for Malek Akkad to get fucking greedy and let somebody else make one, because it's going to be fucking crazy to do that too. So that's, I mean, if you want old Halloween, go watch old Halloween. This is something new. It's something different.
If you don't like it, it's all right.
I respect that they tried something.
Don't just shit on stuff to shit on stuff.
It. Exactly. All right, so moving on away from the Halloween series, this was.
I was about ready to cut you too. I was like, let's go to something different.
She saw me stepping onto the soapbox and was like, "No, we're gonna."
No, it's okay. I feel like even though it's kind of some of our complaints, I hope it also maybe makes people, see a different point of view. And I saw something really interesting. I know this is kind of a segue off to somewhere else, but. Someone mentioned if you stop falling into movie marketing, then you'll not be as disappointed with every movie.
You'll be a lot happier. Yeah, I think I saw you retweet that the other day. Yeah, it is brilliant. It's because you and I we don't watch trailers. We try to avoid trailers at all costs.
Right. It's like we see trailers at the theater, and that's pretty much it.
Right, and that's only a situation where we're forced to, basically. Right.
But yeah, even though we've seen trailers, we've had so many things that are misleading, whether it's intentional or not. But something that, we've talked about before, people were disappointed in Black Phone because it wasn't that scary because the trailers made it seem that way.
Well, the trailers made it seem that way because, it is scary to a certain audience.
Right.
That's the thing. It's like, it depends on, if you don't follow into movie marketing. Mm-hmm. It was marketed to adults when honestly it's more of a young adult thriller.
Yeah.
If you read the book, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is a young adult thriller.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the criticisms of film, we had to take a little sidetrack there because these, horror is a genre we love. Obviously, we're dedicating our time and effort to it. And we just, the criticisms, like we just feel like why criticize, something that's just trying to bring joy to people. That's one thing
Right.
I've
If
always
you don't
hated.
like it, it's fine. There's people that do like it, but I also just want people to kind of open their minds a little and maybe enjoy more movies.
Right. At least try to.
Because, there's a lot of movies that we were talking about with just the Halloween movies.
Right.
Which some of these we're going to get to, that they're so bad they're good, but we enjoy them even though they're bad.
Right.
And I want people to be able to do that. I feel like everyone wants to be this like top critic, and it's just crazy. But yeah, the next on
our agenda after our digression there is
Trick or Treat.
Yes, which
my
you named.
Favorite.
Natalie named officially as her favorite movie. That's our
yes.
pilot debut episode.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to that. But that is Natalie's favorite movie. So of course we got to talk about it. But Trick or Treat, one of our favorites, 2007, Michael Dougherty directing. An anthology film,
yes.
Where all of these different stories tie together, and they all talk about the rules of Halloween, and we can see that through different stories, different tropes, different characterizations. We've talked about it when we mentioned it being your favorite episode, but one thing I want to get into is, so I got to ask you, what is your favorite segment of Trick or Treat?
I knew you were probably going to ask me that question.
We got to find out. The public wants to know.
So, and this is something too, we recently got to see this in theaters.
We did. We got to see
release.
it in theaters during its limited run there earlier this year.
And it was absolutely amazing to me. I know that there was at least one or two people I interacted with online who kind of had the same reaction when the credits started. I got a little choked up because it is a movie. Yes. It's such a great, fantastic fucking movie, and I'll never forget like seeing the comics and shit at the comic store for it. And when that movie came out and I bought it, and I just it became my whole personality.
It is. It's your whole personality. Literally, it's half of the decorations in our house are Sam and Trick or Treat decorations, which I 100% love. We wake up in that little town every day.
Yes.
And little Sam is not scary at all. I literally wake up and see little Sam everywhere. So it's perfect.
But yeah,
your favorite segment. Come on. You gotta know.
It was amazing to see it in theaters, as I was saying, but witnessing it and having the sounds play with the theaters, a scene that was way more elevated for me than I ever thought it could be was the werewolf scene.
Oh, fuck yes.
And that is my favorite segment.
The werewolves?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Not only
100%.
because I adore Anna Paquin, can be amazing, and
she can also be not so amazing as we've discussed, but
it's okay.
Yes, Trick or Treat is probably my favorite performance from her.
She's a precious thing. And
she sure is.
I love her, just this like bratty attitude character, and it just seems like it's girls having a party and they're just gonna go get drunk and hook up with dudes, and that's what you keep thinking. That's what they mislead you so well as that story plays out. And she's like, I want my first time to be special and all that shit.
Oh, it's terrific, the language.
And you're just like, what the fuck is going on with this story? Because all the other ones get into shit pretty quick. And theirs kind of takes their time.
It simmers.
Yeah.
It really does. I do love that about the werewolf story.
It also pulls in one of the other stories with the principal, becoming this.
Which I was going to say that's my favorite. The principal is my absolute favorite. Like, no disrespect to the kids on the bus and the driver and little Sam and all that, but fucking Principal Wilkins is fucking my favorite.
He's amazing.
I love that story. And when you talk about a scene being elevated for you in the theater, for me, it was the fucking kid puking.
Oh my God, yeah.
The sound in a fucking
Always
theater.
check your candy.
Don't forget to check your candy. Oh my God.
His delivery is great, and that's another
Dylan
one
Baker,
where
fantastic.
They have that great mislead, because you can tell you've seen that he has a child buried in his backyard. But then he's getting all pissed off at his kid because
he's literally trying to bury a body as his kid is bothering him about trick or treating. It's like we're laughing our asses off because it's so It is like Trick or Treat, as good of a horror film as it is, it's fucking funny.
It really is.
It's got some terrific laughs. Like you're like the whole scene with Principal Wilkins and the fucking son, and he's like, because he's trying to hide the body, and then the body's like not dead, so he's got to like smash it, and the kid's just yelling at him the whole time. Like,
yes, it's one of those. I'm laughing a little harder too because it was literally like maybe two or 3 days ago we were at the store, and the way some kid or dad had an interaction, I started chuckling because all I could think of was that part where he's like, Daddy, come help me with the ice. Daddy, why is Mom not here anymore? Like that little weird, like talking to himself in the backyard is just my favorite. But it's funny that you say that that's your favorite segment because that leads into my favorite. And I know they all interact together.
It's all full circle. Yeah, absolutely.
But, you have this girl who's looking for her first time, and then you have this vampire guy who's actually Principal Wilkins.
Which I love that he wasn't actually a vampire, because I'll be honest, when that, like, the first time I watched that movie, way back when it was first released on DVD.
Yeah, because you see him kill the girl. He's got fangs and shit.
But it almost took me out. Like, I was almost like, no, this doesn't belong. You know what I mean? Like, the vampire shit. And then, of course, it was just topped by werewolves. So, you know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, for some reason, him being a legit vampire would have totally taken me out. But the fact that it was just a gimmick.
Right.
Oh, I love that. I do too. That's one of my favorite little details in the movie.
It's really creepy.
It's so creepy. He's
predatorial.
A creepy
character.
You're right. He's
all around. I mean, he kills kids. He's basically grooming his child to be a serial killer too.
He literally is. Yeah. And then we kind of see it at the end. And then
he goes out and preys on women.
Well,
like, he's crazy.
We see at the end of the movie, the kid is wearing the dad's bloody shirt.
Yeah.
And everything.
Passing out candy.
Which is funny because to me, now that we've got the announcement that Michael Dougherty is developing a sequel.
I hope that little kid comes back.
Fuck, if he's not, it's a wasted opportunity.
It has to be. It has to be Little Wilkins.
We got to get Little Wilkins. I swear. And he's got, oh my fucking God. It has to happen.
Literally, whenever they said it's an active development, which fucking don't tease me anymore with
hyperactive development.
But whenever they said that was the first thing that I thought of, because he doesn't have parents anymore.
No, he was an orphan.
Right.
And by the time this comes out, it'll probably be like 2025 before we even think about getting it, right?
Yeah.
That kid's going to be ample age to where he could be an adult serial killer.
An adult serial killer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
And you don't know how long the werewolves live. They could look like that, do the slow age shit.
Anna Paquin is still in great shape.
Right. She looks amazing.
Aoides, however you pronounce her last name, she still looks great. It's like you could bring the werewolves back and we could tell more stories with them. I know that you want to use it to tell new stories. I get it. But
right.
Come on.
But having some cameos or something would be really fucking cool.
We got to get some callbacks. So yeah. But in addition to that, I think the other story that we both really love is our dear little Rhonda. Yeah. She's one of our favorites.
Yeah. And she's just an awesome character.
Which is why this episode is called You Mean Samhain.
You Mean Samhain?
Because of Rhonda and her... she's the most adorable fucking thing the whole movie, because she's just this cute little kid who's scared to death, but she loves Halloween. Yeah. But as we talk about Trick or Treat, the whole point of the movie is it tells the rules of Halloween. And Rhonda, we see from the very beginning, understands the rules. And in the end, that's what saves her. Yeah. And it really doesn't, nobody else is
Well, it's
spared.
like one of my favorite little things that she says, whenever they're at the elevator and like the one boy's really scared, she's like, keep the pumpkin close, it'll protect you. And it's like, that's such a witchy little thing to say.
Which of course she's dressed as a witch.
Right. And she knows all about its, history of the holiday and things.
Calls it Samhain, knows of the ancient origins of Halloween. Yeah, she's very witchy.
And just, passes by Sam on her way out, and it's awesome. I love Sam. I love the concept of,
I just wanted them to have a predator moment, like Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers, where they just like slock hands there as they're passing by. That would have been
Right.
the dopest shit ever. Rhonda and Sam
Just fucking
in
high
the
fives.
buddy movie. I want to see that.
Yeah.
That's part of the sequel. Rhonda
That
and
is
Sam.
Rhonda and Sam.
It's gotta be.
Rhonda's like a keeper of Halloween.
Right.
But no, I love the idea. Don't get me wrong, I love Little Sam, Murderous Sam. But even just the concept of like really keeping the rules of Halloween, like and it's not that the rules, it's the idea and their core foundation of what the holiday is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what ultimately I really, really love about the movie is like, yeah, you get this cool anthology where all their stories tie together, but it's really like about like literally the spirit of Halloween. And to me, being a kid who grew up loving Halloween, like you said, with these horror movies made us who we are, that is one of those movies that I just identify the most with because I love Halloween so fucking much. Like, I know I sound like one of those, Halloween is a lifestyle, which I agree with that phrase. And I am that, but it's like, it really means a lot to me.
Way.
Absolutely the fuck not. No Ray Dunn in this fucking house.
Yeah, exactly. Not in that kind of way. We're more like, we respect it and its origins, which is what Trick or Treat is all about.
Yeah.
It presents it as rules, but really it's just honor the tradition of the holiday.
Yeah, and it's just the cutest, like, even
which is essentially what his other movie Krampus is about as well.
Yes, oh my god, I can't wait to talk about Krampus.
Here in a couple months, tick-tock, 2 months away, we'll talk Krampus.
It's the only thing really about Christmas that I get super excited about is Krampus.
Yeah, but so Trick or Treat, it's about respecting the holidays.
Yeah.
And that's completely the message that he tries to convey.
And he does it perfectly.
Yeah. And there's somebody else who does Halloween justice, as we were talking about.
Does the polar opposite.
His name is Rob fucking Zombie. I just added the fucking. But Rob Zombie, one of our favorite directors, as you've seen. He just has some of our absolute favorite movies ever.
Yeah.
As we talked about, a lot of his movies take place on Halloween. Just a little honorable mention here. The Munsters does have a good
lands
chunk of the
Halloween.
movie.
Yeah,
where everything lands on Halloween. But the two that we really want to focus on today, House of a Thousand Corpses and 31.
Yes, Halloween, the depravity of Halloween.
Oh, he explores it in so many different ways. And House of a Thousand Corpses, of course, released in 2003. Mm-hmm. It was his very first movie ever to be released. And I remember it had some weird origins. It was started in the late 90s. It was supposed to be a ride for Universal's Horror Nights. And then it became a movie. And then Universal, after the movie was filmed, Universal didn't want it. So he sold it to somebody else. And then they didn't want it. And finally it ended up in Lionsgate's hands. And Lionsgate releases it in 2003 after a very long process. And we were introduced to Rob Zombie as a director. And we were introduced to the Firefly family, Captain Spaulding.
Sherry Moon.
Baby
Firefly.
Yeah. And it has forever left its mark on Natalie and I for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It is easily one of our favorite movies ever. It's weirdly
So we literally just did a movie about how it's a comfort, or a TikTok video about how it's a comfort movie.
It's a comfort movie. Like we sit there and we put it on and we can just kind of just be in bliss and just tune out and just completely be immersed in the world of the Firefly family and the murder ride at Captain Spaulding's. You know, it's terrific.
Every aesthetic in this movie, to me, is just perfection. And I am so happy to say that I was lucky enough to see this in theaters when it originally came out. And I was young enough back then that I thought it was really fucking disgusting. And I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember you and I have talked about this. Our first viewing of it, we weren't like as in love with it as we are now.
Right. It's definitely, and I think there's been a few people I've been able to convince to try to like give it a rewatch, because I think a lot of people do watch it and they're just like, well, this just seemed like gross for gross sake, and they don't feel like it gave anything, and then they just don't like it. But to me, it's not really about that for this movie. It has substance to it. and it has some really basic characters that you don't quite get attached to.
Yeah.
Like, I literally attach more to the Firefly family than I do the protagonists of this movie.
Which makes sense why
Even
we see
though
the Devil's Rejects.
I fucking love Jerry and his fucking dialogue in that movie.
We love Jerry. Dr. Satan!
Dr. Satan!
You know, we love Jerry. We love Rainn Wilson, of course, playing Bill.
Right.
But yes, you can't top Sid Haig, Bill Moseley, Sherry Moon. They are the perfect trifecta of villains, and this movie presents them. And who can forget? Like, it's funny. Like, we love Bill and Sherry and Sid, but really, like, what makes House of a Thousand Corpses for us are some of these minor characters, like Matt McGorry is Tiny, Karen Black as Mama Firefly.
Oh, Mama. Yeah.
Robert
I mean,
Nix,
her entrance in that movie, just like kind of slowly walking through the living room, wearing just the aesthetic that she has when you look at her.
That old bordello kind of madam.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a whole vibe.
And just the way she talks and she laughs and she flirts and everything about the visuals of that movie. There's never a scene where there's not a lot going on in the background. Like, there's always a ton of shit on the walls, or, you know, like shelves full of things. Like, there's not just like a flat wall in that movie.
No, everything serves
literally
purpose.
Right, literally look like starting in Spalding's, where every section of the wall is covered in pictures and weird shit, and then the pack rat home of the Fireflies.
Yeah.
Like, everything's just so busy, and I feel like I always see something new, but it always just adds to the scenes. You know what I mean?
It does. Everything is enhanced by everything enhances one another in the film. Visually, the sound editing, everything in it is just, you watch it and you are immersed in that world. And even those little cutaways, we joke about it, but the skunk ape visual,
it's in like the weird negatives, or it's in like the heat vision. And then
Sherry's music video cutaway stuff.
I was gonna say
all very,
a lot of that. I mean, even there's scenes that don't even make sense. Like, my favorite scene, when they go to buy alcohol at a place called Pussy Liquors, Red Hot Pussy Liquors, and it's a liquor store that obviously also sells porn, but
obviously
it doesn't make any sense.
It does not need to be in
the movie
whatsoever.
But also, it does need to be in the movie.
It is one of the greatest scenes in movie history, because it's literally just Sherry Moon talking to this guy Goober, who works at the Red Hot Pussy Liquor store, and you're just like, what the fuck is this scene? And then you look back and you're like, that scene had no bearing on anything else in the fucking movie, but he left it in.
Right.
And to me, that says, like, Rob Zombie doesn't give a fuck, and I appreciate that.
He's
about
like,
him.
I wanted this aesthetic. I have this fucking song idea. I'm gonna put this in this movie.
Okay, so you think the song came before the scene?
I don't know.
Oh my god, how funny would that be if that was the case? If Rob Zombie wrote this song, and somebody's telling him, no, Rob, we don't need this scene. Like, we fucking need it, because I just spent $1 million in the studio recording this song.
I don't know. I'll have to fact check all that.
That'll be, if that's the case, which I could totally see it being the case. That'd be hilarious.
It would be.
But yeah, so House of a Thousand Corpses, if you can't tell, one of our absolute favorites and gems. We will talk more about it.
I could just gush over that all day.
And honestly, we'll probably just do a whole episode on the Firefly trilogy at some point.
Oh,
so
that'd be fun.
We will talk more about it. But the other movie of Rob Zombie's, so House of a Thousand Corpses, takes place over the span of a couple of days.
Yes,
but it does
land on Halloween.
It does land on Halloween. And then 31 actually takes place on Halloween, hence the name 31. So it is, this is about a group of carnies, carnival workers that are traveling with their show. They stop off in a little remote area.
Another movie set in like the 70s for him as well.
Yeah, in fact, I think we looked at it, and 31 takes place the year before House of a Thousand Corpses.
I believe so,
And it makes you wonder if they're connected. We're not going to get into that right now, but it makes you wonder if this maybe takes place in the same universe. But this group of carnival workers is ambushed, and some are killed immediately, but most are taken and put into a game called 31, which is run by this group of 3 strange people in powder wigs.
Yes.
I really don't. They were really not given more explanation
With, like,
about them than that.
Like nude servant women that hand them notes on trays.
It looks like they're having a good time. Don't get me wrong.
They're like
but,
gambling basically on these lives.
And that's the game. Is they are throwing wagers on who's going to die first, who has the best odds, and these carnival workers that we meet in the beginning of the film now have to survive.
Yeah.
The other thing we are introduced to in this movie from the get-go is Richard Brake as Doomhead.
Oh my
it is
God.
literally our opening scene, and he gives one of the greatest monologues in film history, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
As he is about to brutally axe murder a priest. It is, and when I say that, it is everything you expect it to be.
Yeah.
It is incredibly brutal. But yeah, it's terrific. We get this story of Charlie, who is played by Sherry Moon Zombie, who is of course our final girl of the movie. I think it's the first time that Rob Zombie actually ever made Sherry the final girl. Because when you think about it, you know, she was...
So she's mainly been antagonist.
Yeah, or almost like an anti-hero, Lords of Salem, you know, with Heidi. You know, but yeah, this was really... So Charlie, her role in this film, really her first and I guess her only time is really a final girl. But of course, you know, she gets to the end of the film and it's her versus Doomhead. And to me, there's no better dynamic there with Sherry as this vulnerable girl turned fucking badass heroine.
Yeah.
And Doomhead, this just vile, reprehensible, deplorable fucking human being.
Hey now. Hey.
But
listen.
He is.
Listen. He's a gentle man of war.
I'm a gentle man of war.
He is.
But we see the way he talks to this lady friend of his when he's interrupted mid-coitus.
Oh, he's an absolute dirtbag, and I love every fucking thing about him. Doomhead is just
he says awful shit to this woman. I cannot stress how awful
he says awful shit to her, but he also says awful shit to the people that he goes in to kill.
That's true.
They basically, you know, they kind of go through like levels of villains. It feels very video game-ish to me.
It is very video game.
Like,
absolutely.
Well, we let out this one crazy guy. Oh, you killed him. Well, here's the next level up, and then here's the next level up. And so basically they get Doomhead.
Final boss.
Yeah, like final boss level. And he's just this sneaky, smooth guy with like a blade that's maybe 6 or 7 inches long, and he just goes around and fucks people up. And basically it all takes place over Halloween evening. So cool ass Halloween movie. It is. And obviously Rob Zombie did Halloween movies, and we fucking love those too. So he does a lot of Halloween movies, like
we'll
you said.
We'll talk more about Rob Zombie. We've got plenty of Rob Zombie to come.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a good time to kind of talk about what got us into horror as kids. We kind of talked about this in another episode, but Halloween themed movies are really, I think, got us hook, line, and sinker as children.
Yeah.
To love Halloween.
I think you mentioned the Double Toil and Trouble like a week or two ago.
Oh yeah, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, one of my favorite little made-for-TV movies.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it on like one of the Witch episodes.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
I could do a whole fucking episode on that, trust me. But yeah, there was like, when we were kids, that was it. Like Halloween, there would always be a new movie, whether it's Disney Channel or ABC Family or...
And even just the Halloween specials that you get in shows.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Netflix and even Disney still kind of does that, where they make a little playlist that you can find on their platform that's like Halloween episodes of this show and this show and this show, and you can just watch them, which is always really cool. Like, I think that they just understand people want to watch those specials, because that's something that I've done as, you know, since I was a kid, like Garfield's Halloween and Charlie Brown.
Well, and we got to mention Treehouse of Horror. We're not going to get too in depth with it because we could go on about that forever, but Treehouse of Horror was a huge influence on us, I think, as kids, because we love The Simpsons. But
also, we had Goosebumps.
Oh, fucking Goosebumps.
And you had shit like, I remember The Haunted Mask. They kind of aired it like a special.
Right. It was like prime time. Which was a huge deal. Like,
and
as a kid, you're like, my stuff is one of my shows is going to be in prime time. Yes. I get to stay up late and watch this.
Stay up late. It was like probably 8 o'clock.
Right.
And like the neighbor girls came over and like we all sat in front of the TV with popcorn and watched that.
It's a big deal.
And it's like, that was fucking Halloween as a kid.
Yeah, but the Haunted Mask and Carly Beth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, take off that mask, Carly Beth. Take off the mask. Take off the mask. Oh my God. It's just like.
But it was so fucking scary,
it is.
Dude.
For a kid, that's fucking scary.
When it fuses to her face, hell no.
And when she starts looking, I remember when she started looking down, and you're like, oh, she's like, it's fused to my skin. Like, that shit was, as a kid, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Fuck, who am I kidding? I'm an adult. If you tell me I put on a mask, it's going to fuse to my skin, I'm terrified. Fuck that.
Absolutely. That's what we need. That's going to be the new movie that's done for adults, is the Haunted Mask. But it's going to be really brutal.
Oh, could you imagine? I could. I'm waiting for it. But yeah, so Goosebumps, Halloween Town we talked about with the Witches episode, another episode we did recently, and Hocus Pocus, we talked about that a little bit too.
Yeah.
Hocus Pocus was definitely a big one for me.
Right. Whereas mine, not a Halloween movie, mine was Witches for, just any time of the year. But Hocus Pocus, being that it is set on Halloween, it's just
Salem,
right,
with witches, and these smart-ass teenagers. Like,
exactly,
I love it. It's
Hocus Pocus is a perfection.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that I think we've joked about, like the Rotten Tomatoes is super fucking low, but it's like, dude, it's fucking Hocus Pocus.
Right. I don't give a fuck about what Rotten Tomatoes says. If anybody came up to me today like, Hocus Pocus sucks, I'm like, cool. I'm still gonna go home and watch it tonight.
Yeah,
like,
I don't need that kind of negativity. Go away.
It's like we were talking about with the film criticism earlier. It's like, you know what? It's like, really, it's Hocus Pocus.
Yeah,
like, you're not getting.
It's not a great movie, but it's a great movie.
You're not getting fucking Shakespeare. I know that.
And that's how I feel with Halloween Town, especially because
that's
even lower because it's just like, it was Disney Channel movie, you know?
It was just a made-for-TV movie.
Exactly. But Marnie is my fucking witch. I love Marnie.
Marnie is the best, and Kimberly J. Brown, you and I have gushed over how amazing she is. One of our favorites to follow on social media too. She's just hilarious. Like, she is, to me, she's America's sweetheart. I love Kimberly J. Brown.
She's amazing.
I would that is one person where you could tell me she did the most awful shit imaginable. Like, nope, don't believe it. I don't buy it for a second. She's too fucking sweet.
She's too pure for this world.
So yeah, she is one of our favorites. Love you, KJB. So yeah, she will forever be a Halloween heroine for us here at Horror Zoid.
Yes.
Try saying that 10 times fast.
That's a difficult one.
But we're moving on to another H. We're talking Haunt.
Yes.
Haunt. You had been wanting to see this for a while.
Yeah, I was really fascinated by the posters with the masks. And that was really it.
Yep. And masks are a great way to hook you. You are a sucker for a good mask.
I'm a sucker for a good mask.
Exactly.
Wink, wink. So, but I saw them and I thought they're just really cool. They kind of reminded me of like your vintage Halloween mask, but kind of redone in this weird, just strange kind of way, like the ghost mask looking one. And that was really it. Besides, I didn't know shit about the movie. I was like, it's a Halloween movie. There's a haunted house, and there's cool fucking masks, like killers. And we finally sat down and watched it, and I was pleasantly surprised. It's just a really cool fucking Halloween movie.
I was pleasantly surprised as well. When you first mentioned it to me, I looked it up and saw that it was directed and produced and written by the guys who wrote A Quiet Place. So I love A Quiet Place, and I was like, wow. So I really was surprised to see what they could do as directors instead of just writers. And man, Haunt was such a unique movie to me. It was because it's like, it's a slasher, it's a fun house. It's like it's like a throwback to some of those kind of slaughtery kind of movies. You know what I mean? Where people are just kind of like trying to escape. Like Funhouse by Tobe Hooper.
Right.
You know,
and it's kind
one
of
those old school kind of slashers.
And it plays well on the creepy concept of going to a haunted house where everything's supposed to be scary, but it's fake, and having something real happen.
Well, because how many times has somebody said, like, oh, this would be the perfect way to murder people. This would
Right.
be the perfect way to, stage a crime.
Exactly. It's like even
yeah.
the movie we were just talking about in Trick or Treat, like he basically kills that girl and leaves her dead in front of a shit ton of other people, and no one bats an eye because it's Halloween. She just looks like a drunk girl covered in fake blood.
Yeah, just a drunk girl covered in fake blood on the sidewalk.
You know, there's been real stories of things that have happened and people thought it was Halloween decorations. Yeah. And, you know, so it is kind of this weird fear when you go into a haunted house. You're like, oh my God, someone could like stab me right now. Yeah, and everyone would think I'm just acting.
Yeah, exactly. Because how are you supposed to know anymore? It's one of those things where the lines are
haunted
blurred.
Houses don't have safe words.
No.
They have emergency exits, and that's it.
There you go. That's our idea. We're patenting that, the haunted house safe word. So, yeah, we're going to keep everybody safe. Make sure your haunted house has a safe word next year. But yeah, so it's funny, we joke about it, but one of my favorite stories recently, and you and I watched a documentary on Netflix about it not too long ago, is about the haunts that go too far.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people.
I think there's a statement to be made with the movie Haunt.
Yeah, and I agree. There's a lot of people that are like-minded with us that they don't like the things that go too far.
No,
especially these haunts that are set up.
Me at all.
No, and I feel like this movie it feels like it's gonna push that limit a little bit, not in the way of like what happens to them in the haunted house, but the unnerviness. There's the scene in the beginning where they have to sign a waiver and then lock their phones up. They can't take their phones inside.
Yep.
If I went somewhere and they did that, I'd say no. I'm out. It's it. Like, it's one thing you go to a place and they're like, make sure you silence or turn off your phones or don't take any pictures or don't record. Like, yeah, we went to a couple haunted houses. They literally tell you, don't take out your phone, don't take pictures, don't record.
We had to sign a waiver for something recently for one of our haunted houses that we went to and tours. So, we're not, that part doesn't bother me. That's not uncommon, but yeah, the cell phone.
Yeah.
That's
like
where,
not
that's
being
where I was
able
like,
to
oh,
have
fuck
it.
no.
It's like, it's freaky. And it just goes downhill from there. And I'm not going to spoil Haunt for you. I hope you go and watch it. But there's a really cool twist to these killers and the traps that they have in this haunted house.
I agree. I love the direction that it went, and it's fantastic. There's a lot of great statements to be made there. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Go check out Haunt. We own it, because it's one of our absolute favorites.
Fun Halloween movie with some cool twists. And
speaking of which,
oh my God, I've been so excited to talk about this, guys. So, one of my favorite movies is Terrifier. And recently, of course, we got Terrifier 2 in theaters. We went and saw it second night in the theaters, and as of recording this, it's been pushed into more theaters across the country. I think it's over, I almost said over 9,000.
They're over $5 million made.
Right.
In its entire run, and it wasn't expected to go past one weekend. Like, that's why we saw it that second night, because we weren't sure that it was going to be in any more theaters. We were only guaranteed through that weekend.
Exactly.
And now here we are almost a month later.
And it still has show times, and we're going into Halloween weekend, which they're anticipating huge numbers.
Of course they are.
But I mean, it's so exciting. And I know I sound like a giddy little kid, but I remember the first time I saw Art the Clown and was like, holy fuck, I have to see this movie. And then whenever I looked into it, we had All Hallows Eve, which was even before Terrifier, also a Halloween movie. But
Art the Clown is synonymous with Halloween at this point. He's our generation, not our generation, he's Gen Z's Michael Myers.
Right.
He is. He's the new slasher for this new generation.
Absolutely. And it's something that I'm so excited to see how big it's getting, because when you look at All Hallows Eve, it was super small, little tiny movie.
Very low budget.
Right. Terrifier, I remember I heard about it, I think not until maybe late 2018. It was when it went to Netflix. There was a little bit of a buzz online about it.
Yeah,
I was
Watch
like, we
Mojo,
really need to watch
What
this
Culture.
movie.
Yeah, a lot of them were recommending it. Yeah.
And, we finally sat down and watched it, I think maybe beginning of 2019. and we were just fucking hooked. It's an amazing movie. There's not a lot to the first movie.
No, plot-wise, it's razor thin.
Right.
But it's
terrifying and it's fun.
It's so fucking glorious.
And then,
we
the
always
second
talk,
one, it's huge and it's fucking cool. Everyone keeps asking, is it really that good? Yes, it's that good.
It's that fucking good.
It's that good.
Right. It's probably, we've seen a lot of movies this Halloween season.
Yeah.
From the end of September to the end of October. And this last month, we've seen so many fucking good movies.
Yeah.
And this year, we've had so many great releases. I would dare say of 2022, Terrifier 2 may be the best release. And
I agree. And it's also was the best experience in theaters. Because like you said, we've gone and seen a lot. And, at different theaters and different showings and whatnot. But it was just... not just the people that were in the room, they kind of added to the experience because you would hear all these audible gasps and screams, the same time as you. And that kind of makes it this fun, like immersive experience to me, having all these people who have the same passion as you watching this movie.
It's almost like an amusement park, right?
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Terrifier 2 is a lot of fun.
It's so much fun.
It doesn't sound like it'll be long before it's on Blu-ray and 4K and all that.
Yeah, and I think it might even start streaming somewhere starting Monday.
Screenbox, I think it starts on Monday. But yeah, it's go, find any way to see it. It's worth it, no matter how you're seeing it, whether it's in theaters, whether it's streaming it, whether it's buying the Blu-ray DVD. It's so worth it. Terrifier 2 is probably the best movie of 2022.
I agree.
Think about all the fucking great movies we've got this year, and we're sitting here telling you, as of Halloween weekend 2022, Terrifier 2 is tops for 2022.
Damien has made it. I feel like it's such a huge thing, and I love seeing how excited they are every time it hits another milestone.
Right.
Or, they've gone from 800 theaters in the States to 1,000 theaters. And it's like, that's a lot. That's a lot more.
It's the little engine that could have horror movies.
Yeah, it really is. And it's
which
been
shows
so
you
cool
that we're just a
it.
bunch of sappy idiots. Because it's like,
right.
Horror fans, we're so bad. We're such badasses. But here we are, just like, we're so happy for Damien and Lauren and David and everybody with that movie.
Oh, man, Lauren's a fucking delight. Yeah. I love being able to interact with her online. Anytime she likes or comments or like anything with me, I'm like, right. Because she's so cool. Like, her character in Terrifier 2, absolutely fucking amazing. Like, super passionate about Halloween. Just, I love her character so much. And then Lauren as an actress, or as a person, I'm sorry, she just seems so cool and fun and genuine. And I really hope she starts tagging along with them at these conventions, and it's not, they can have a third and even a fourth with the boy that plays the brother, because he was great.
Yeah, the whole phenomenal cast. Terrifier 2, All Hallows Eve, just phenomenal introduction into Art the Clown. We kind of, and there's an All Hallows Eve 2 that Damien was not involved in, but still kind of involves Art the Clown. So that's kind of iffy on canon, but. When you look at All Hallows Eve, Terrifier, and Terrifier 2, it's this really interesting trilogy and this evolution of this character, Art the Clown.
Yeah.
And not that that's where it's going to end. It sounds like Art has a huge future in horror.
Yeah,
right
say with Terrifier 2, broke his story wide open. Like, he gave us so much in Terrifier 2. Yep. Like, I don't know how we ended up with over 2 hours of Art the Clown, but I'm happy that we did.
And it looks like we're going to get a Terrifier 3, which will round out the Terrifier trilogy. I don't know if they're going to keep doing movies beyond that, but I know Damien has been open that he still plans to continue Art's story. So it sounds like as long as he's going right now, we're going to get more Art the Clown. And I don't know anybody that's disappointed about that right now. He's become a huge horror movie icon. I think Damien Leone, like you were kind of tapping at earlier, I think he's hitting that status where he's going to be that next name that you can put as a producer. Yeah. He's going to be like the next Guillermo del Toro. It's like Damien Leone presents.
They'll be like, oh, he did that fucked up Art the Clown dude.
Yeah, exactly. He's just earned that reputation now. He has cemented himself as, you put his name on it, we're all going to go see it. Like, I guarantee you, he's going to have that kind of legacy where we all ran out and watched every
hit
single Damien Leone movie.
Like, literally, I think yesterday they were talking about Oscar nominations. Like, people were pushing Oscar nominations.
It's never going to happen, but like, that's cute.
And yeah, there were people like, well, they really fucking hate horror, but let's see what we can do. And I think the fan base is growing at such a rapid rate. Like, God only knows. I'm excited to see where it all goes, and hopefully in a couple Halloweens we'll have a new Terrifier.
Oh, I'm sure we will. It sounds like it's going to keep going. It's exciting. So yeah, we're going to talk about a few more here before we wrap up. One that we saw a few years back that we really enjoyed called Tales of Halloween. Mm-hmm. It's another anthology kind of style movie with one overarching kind of narrative that ties everything together.
Feels a little VHS-y for Halloween.
It's very VHS-y.
You know, because you have a bunch of different directors and things like that doing their own little minis, you know. So it's just a fun one. I enjoyed it. There were some that were better than others. You know, I feel like you get that with these kind of movies, but I was surprised pleasantly with it.
I was really, awesome. I agree, pleasantly surprised. It's one I'm surprised doesn't get talked about more because it was very well done. Like it was. There's not a bad, like you said, some are better than others, but there wasn't a bad one. Like,
no.
Like it's not like you watch a VHS and you're like, oh, one was shit and one was, you know, head and shoulders above the others. They were all very, very well done. Adrienne Barbeau, you know, horror legend. She kind of does like the overarching narration, voiceover there. So she's terrific in it. I know one of your favorite guys, Sam Witwer, did one of the segments, and you were gushing the whole time. So yeah, there's some great little stories there. Great cast, terrific directors that they were able to get for it. So yeah, Tales of Halloween, great anthology style movie in the vein of Trick or Treat.
It's fun.
Yeah, and VHS. So yeah, check it out for sure. The next couple we're going to talk about are not so good though. Do you want to start with the worst one, or do you want to start with the one that's a little bit not as worse? Because they both fucking suck in my opinion. But
a little bit not as worse.
Both fucking suck.
So we were kind of talking about what is it between these two movies that makes one better than the other. And the only thing that I say makes one better than the other is that it's so fucking over the top that you're laughing more than you're scared. And I feel like it can still be like watched in an enjoyable way with other people. And it's called Hellfest.
So yeah, we're going to talk about the one that we liked a little bit better, not by much, but a little bit better, Hellfest. So Hellfest is a flaming pile of shit. It's so bad. And you don't hear me shit on movies a lot in this. You won't hear me shit on movies a lot in this podcast, trust me. But I fucking hate this movie. It's literally like, I just remember the plot was like there's somebody goes to haunted houses and kills people.
So hear me out. You agreed with this, and we were kind of talking about this earlier with Haunt. And this is why I say Haunt did it better. Haunt did what Hellfest wanted to do, but better.
Haunt did fucking everything better than Hellfest.
It did, but
it
Hellfest
was actually a good
have...
fucking movie.
Hellfest has a cool concept of not just a haunted house, but like a whole fucking theme park. Like, you know, think like Halloween Horror Nights. Like, it's huge. But
it sounds good on paper, and it even has Tony Todd in it, which I fucking
does.
You know, like Tony Todd's my guy. Like if he's in it, I will watch it. But even this, like even with Tony Todd, couldn't save this fucking movie, man.
No.
Because like the acting of the main cast is so bottom fucking rate. It's not even funny.
They're caricatures.
They're caricatures
for sure.
of caricatures. They're like somebody watched a Scooby-Doo and said, no, this is fucking acting, bro. No, like you see
like
that.
Scoob.
Right, yeah, like Scoob. That's fucking Shakespeare, dog. No, it's not. That's how bad this fucking cast is. Like, they watched some Hanna-Barbera shit and thought to themselves, I'm bringing this to life. It's like Archie and Jughead, but bad. And it's so bad. And, so that's Hellfest. I don't recommend it.
There's like maybe two scenes. There's maybe two scenes that are like, okay. But like I said, it's at least I remembered more of it, I think because we were laughing so much. But the other
Let's talk
movie,
about the other movie, the one that we said was even shittier than that.
oh god, it's so fucking gettable.
It's called Trick.
I'm sorry if you like this. It's another one
It's
where...
on Hulu if you want to see how this fucking awful flaming pile of shit is.
But again, it's another one where you have a concept that's decent, but there's just the shittiest execution to me. But it's a Halloween movie, so like if you need something to watch, I feel like Hellfest would be good if you're a drinker, because there's a lot of drinking game opportunities
You could totally
with
do
Hellfest.
drinking games with that. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Not, telling you to go drink, but like if you do that or whatever.
If you're 21 and over, be responsible.
Yes. But, whatever you want to do with the movies.
But Trick is fucking terrible. Trick was disappointing because look at the fucking cast. You have Omar Epps from Scream 2, Jamie Kennedy from Scream 1 and 2, Tom Sex Adkins couldn't even save this movie.
Yeah. It was just so, again, it was so forgettable.
Pretty sure I fucking fell asleep for a few
minutes. I was kind of just looking at, Halloween movies and thinking about what we wanted to talk about. And I was looking at Trick. I'm like, did we watch this? And I ask you, and you're like, yeah. And I had to look up the plot, and I'm like, oh yeah, the kid that stabs a bunch of kids at a Halloween party starts this weird fucking whatever it is. I don't know. Again, it's just not a good movie, but it's a Halloween movie, so we wanted to talk about it.
Hellfest and Trick are Halloween movies, yes. So those are those movies, yes. If you're looking for drinking games, if you are a masochist, if you hate yourself, yeah, go ahead and watch these fucking movies because they are, again, you're not going to hear me badmouth many movies on this podcast because I like celebrating movies, but they're garbage, man.
Yeah, Trick is half star for me out of 5.
Half star out of 5.
Hellfest, yep. I'm gonna give 1.5.
Okay.
For the potential of enjoyment with a crowd. I feel like Hellfest is the perfect movie that needs to get the Mystery Science Theater 3000 treatment.
The
riff tracks.
Yeah, it's Mono's Hands of Fate bad. It would be great for riff tracks.
Right.
But it's Hellfest. I would agree with you on Trick. I'd give it half a star. I would only give 1 star. I wouldn't even be generous enough to give it another half star for Hellfest. They're both shit-tastic.
Right.
There's another t-shirt idea.
So there's those. So maybe it'll save you, but I'm a big, person who doesn't really care what other people rate things. So I also kind of want you to just go watch it and not take our opinion. Please go watch it. Because I have seen people like Trick, and I've seen people mention Hellfest and things.
Poor fucking souls.
And it wasn't for me. And that's okay. But Terrifier, absolutely. 10 out of 10 out of 1,000 out of 1,000 kajillion. It's the fucking greatest movie.
Yeah, those are our recommendations. And before we leave you, we have one honorable mention.
Yeah.
Because technically it's not a Halloween movie, but it is. It takes place on the night before Halloween, Devil's Night. And of course, we're talking The Crow. Of course, the late, great Brandon Lee bringing Eric Draven to life. Sadly, of course, Brandon Lee lost his life during the filming of the movie in the infamous incident where, the prop gun wasn't a prop.
Right.
It was really bad. But yes, so The Crow, one of our absolute favorite movies.
It was a faulty
prop.
It was like it was loaded with like the old shell, basically. Yeah. Watch Cursed films if you can. It goes into detail about the incident. And that's another series that's on Shudder. Yeah. So yes, we're still up Shudder's ass. We love you, Shudder.
Still looking for sponsors, buddy. But yes, so go watch Cursed Films on Shudder. It talks about the tragedy in which Brandon Lee lost his life during the production of The Crow. But The Crow, what he left behind was a phenomenal legacy with that film because it was just this unique blend of action and horror, noir and suspense, thriller, drama,
romance. Tragedy.
It had everything, and it really has this 90s vibe to it.
Yeah.
Has one of the best soundtracks you'll ever hear with The Cure and Nine Inch Nails.
The Crow seems to be very popular costume, I've noticed. I've seen a lot of makeup videos.
I mean, it was a pop culture phenomenon too, because I mean, hell, look, we even got a professional wrestler who changed his entire look to be the Crow. I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, Sting literally based his entire look on this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a huge monumental film, and we would be remiss if we didn't mention it, because again, it's not a Halloween movie, but it's Devil's Night, the night before Halloween.
It leads into Halloween.
It
so
does.
It's all right.
It does. And yeah, Eric Draven can only come back and get his revenge for that limited amount of time on Devil's Night.
On Devil's Night.
It's terrific. I love this movie. It's a comfort movie for me too.
Oh my gosh.
Something fucked up about us. I get it. That's one of those movies when he's like, when they take the girl's eye out. That's a comfort movie.
Yeah,
for us.
sure.
It's
the music, it's the vibe, and it's the rain.
Yeah. Can't rain. What is it? Can't rain all the time. Eric. Such a fun movie.
Such a good movie.
But it's a downer fun movie.
Yeah.
It's like if your idea of a good time
romantic.
is not a good time, it's that movie.
I feel like it's very female gaze, because I want my man to come back on Devil's Night and avenge my death. So.
Right. It is there's something there for everybody.
Yeah.
Inner romantic in all of us.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you but there's also like that cop story to it. It's like I said, very noir.
Right. Yeah.
It's very funny film in that way, but I enjoy everything about it. So,
Me too.
Yep.
It's a great honorable mention. So still, I'm gonna say it's a Halloween movie. We can still watch it for Halloween.
We'll still enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so that's all we've got for this episode. This has been so much fun. These are just the tip of the iceberg on our favorite Halloween movies. Obviously, we're going to talk more about the Halloween franchise as time goes on. We're going to talk more about Rob Zombie.
Yes, we're going to get even more passionate than we did at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, we're going to talk, and Terrifier, we're going to give so much more attention to all these movies, but if you're listening, if you find us on Halloween, if this is your first episode, then welcome, and I think this gives you a good sampling of who we are. Yeah. For those of you who've been listening to us for a while, thank you for being with us as long as you have.
Yes.
We plan on giving you plenty more past the Halloween season. It's only about to get even spookier.
Absolutely.
Going into the holidays. What's more terrifying than the holidays? I mean, fuck. I'm shaking thinking about it. I hate the holidays.
All the fucking glitter.
Oh, it's the worst time of the year. But we're so happy and so thrilled that we get to be miserable with all of you, and you get to be miserable with us. We're just going to be a bunch of miserable horror fucks.
Exactly. And
after post-Halloween.
We'll get to talk about cool horror Christmas movies, as we mentioned earlier, like Krampus, and we'll have new Christmas spooky movies, it seems like, coming out this year. So we'll have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, David Harbour is going to be in the Violent Night, I think
Violent
is what it's
Night,
called.
Yeah.
We of course, have tons of stuff like Silent Night, Deadly Night that we can get into, Black Christmas, Krampus, all sorts of great holiday treats that we can get into.
Stevie, you sound like you're actually excited about Christmas.
For once in my life. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're excited to head into the holiday season with you guys. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, you guys.
Thank you for joining us. We couldn't be happier. The leaves are falling off the tree. We can wear cardigans as we go outside.
Drink my PSL.
Oh, it's the best time of the year. So thank you for sticking with us, and thank you for hanging with us, and thank you for celebrating your Halloween with us.
Yes, go eat tons of Reese's pumpkins and delicious Halloween candy. Reese's.
Reese, there we go. There we go. That's going to be a whole other episode all by itself. Thank you again for joining us, guys. This has been a blast. We will see you next time with another episode, but we will leave you with this. You must really like Halloween.
You mean Samhain, also known as All Hallows Eve, also known as Halloween.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes drop every weekend. Follow us on TikTok @HorrorZoidPod and send emails to horrorzoidpod@gmail.com with your thoughts, questions, and stories for us to read on a future episode. To all our Zoids out there, stay scary.